threats and military tensions, Iran has secured a deal that could reopen its worth up to $100 billion and reopen its oil trade and also shifting the balance of power in the region. But what were the exactly 14 points? Let's find out. So we had 14 points that had been demanded by Iran for this agreement. We will discuss those 14 points one by one. And the very first point was the immediate ceasefire demand. So Iran demanded the permanent ceasefire of this war. This was the very first and most important point that had been demanded by Iran in this agreement. And the second point was the mutual respect for sovereignty, and both countries will respect the sovereignty of each other. And this was the second point that was demanded by Iran for this agreement. And also the third point, when it comes to third point of the agreement, as per demanded by Iran, that this was the negotiations for the final agreement within the next 60 days. When it comes to the agreement happened on the 22nd of June 2026, and before it was electronically signed on the 18th of June 2026, with Pakistan acting as mediator. Uh, so we have been discussed 3 points, and the fourth point that had been demanded by Iran was the removal of the restrictions on Iranian maritime traffic. This was also a very important point that was demanded by Iran, and after it, the very same point, reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and the operation of Strait of Hormuz. This was the fifth point. And also the next point, very similar to the previous two, lifting of sanctions on Iranian oil exports. This is also very important point, and we have been discussed 6 points that had been demanded by Iran in this agreement. After it, we have the very important point that was demanded by Iran, and that was the reconstruction aid for Iran. So Iran demanded about $300 billion worth aid from America to reconstruct Iran and to may strengthen Iran economically. After it, we have another point, and that was the negotiations on the nuclear issues. Uh, Iran reaffirmed that it will not seek the nuclear weapons. And the next point, the Iran reaffirms again a very similar point. And the 10th point we got is Iran demanded that there would be no new US sanctions on Iran within next 60 days. After it, we have the 11th point, and that was the unfreezing of the Iranian frozen assets that Iran claimed that there are about 100 to 120 billion dollars frozen assets of Iran in the region, including China, Iraq, Qatar, and many other countries, including Iraq. And the 12th point was the creation of the monitoring and compliance mechanism. This is also a very important point to make sure that both sides are acting upon the agreement and they had been ceasefire. Also, 13th point, the international backing of the agreement to provide the political uh, security to the agreement. And after it, we have the last point of this agreement, and that was the conditions for the final agreement within the next 60 days of Iran, Israel, and America war. These were the 14 points that were demanded by Iran for this agreement. And also America, the president of America, Donald Trump, uh, claimed it that it must happen. The Vice President J.D. Vance also is negotiating this very wisely. So this is the situation so far. We will discuss the demands of America for this agreement in the next session, and we will also discuss in detail once again the whole scenario during the war. So these were the 14 points discussed by uh, demanded by Iran for this agreement, with Pakistan acting as a mediator. So we will meet in another live session or in another video. Till that time, thank you very much, and wait for the next live session. Thank you. Okay.